I am going to now tell you about the greatness of the Indian classical music. You know what? Indian classical music is actually, it has got two important systems. It is as old as the Vedas, dating back to about the BCs. You can say it's one of the oldest surviving traditions. Now, Indian classical music has got two systems. The South Indian classical system, which is the Carnatic music, and the North Indian classical music, which is the Hindustani music. Now, the Carnatic music has got three main parts. One of them is the melody, and then rhythm, and then the prosody or the Sahitya. In fact, you must have heard many elders say Shruti Mata Layam Pita. In the sense, Shruti is as important as the mother, and the layam or the talam, the rhythm, is as important as the father. So these two are like the eyes of a person, very important. Now the melody part of our system of music has, we learn about the notes, the swarams, then how the ragas are formed, the different types of ragas, how they are classified, how do you go about singing them, the characteristic features, so and so about the ragas. Then the rhythm, which is very important, that in that we learn about the different talams. Layam is the rhythm, talam is a manifestation of the rhythm. See, everything has rhythm in it. When you walk, there is a rhythm. So even the ticking of a clock is very rhythmic. So everything there is a rhythm, but how do you manifest in music? You do it using talas. So there are number of talas because the numbers are countless, and so having different numbers, you have different units, and so different talas, each having special characteristic features. So this is what comes under the rhythm. Then you have something that is very unique to Carnatic music, which is the Sahityam, the prosody. We have so many composers who have composed in different languages, the main languages being Sanskritam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Malayalam also. These are the main languages that are used, and the composers, they have contributed enormously to this. And so the singing of the compositions, different musical forms like Geethams, Varnams, Kritis, Padams, Javalis, Kirtanes, and so on, we have so many. So these form the third important part. Now you may ask me, who is the architect? How do you know about this? Who are the important people who have actually brought this to us? It is a great people like Purandaradasa, the earliest, with Annamacharya, Kshetraya, And then when we come to 17th century, the main architects, the Trinity, Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar and Shyama Shastri, and a host of other composers and great musicians. These people are musicians also. So they have been able to convey all this very beautifully. How? In those days, they never had tape recorders, they never had video or audio recordings to do. So, how did they manage? It was through oral tradition. Just like you people are now sitting and listening to me, in those days, they were taught by their gurus, and by only purely by listening, by concentrating what they were taught, they were able to retain, learn, assimilate, and pass on to the later generations. So that is how it has come, and this is called the oral tradition. And this kind of learning in those days was called the Gurukula system of learning, where the student used to stay with the guru, keep learning at whatever time the guru just had to call them. These people just sat down and, learned. They may be taught, sometimes they may watch the guru, hear him or her singing, and then learn. So this is very important. It's like the Vedas I told you. So it has been passed on from generation to generation through oral tradition. That is another important aspect. And now, apart from this, when you go to a concert, you not only listen to songs, you also hear something extra that is done extempore on the spot by each musician. That is called the Manodharma Sangeetam. We have what is called the Kalpitam, that is already composed. Like I said, the Kritis and Javalis and all. Now, the Manodharma Sangeetam is where the musician does improvisations on the spot, like the Alapana, then you have the Kalpanaswaram, then you have Neraval, then you have a whole composition, whole piece that is Manodharmam, that is a Ragam Tanam Pallavi. Everything is creative about it. It's not preconceived, no one rehearses and comes, it's done on the spot. So that is a very unique aspect of Carnatic music. See how beautiful it is. It's so much, so elevating. It's such a lovely experience to learn, to know all these things, and also to appreciate what our elders have given. So it's a rich cultural tradition that we are going to learn today. Aren't you all excited to learn the system of music? Namaste, students. It gives me great and immense pleasure to be interacting with you and to be, of course, sharing some of the wonderful treasures of the South Indian classical music, the Carnatic music. And specially made for those students, for those learners of Carnatic music who don't have an access to a guru. But it doesn't mean that you're replacing a guru. It's only for those who sometimes want to learn, who have the passion to learn music, but actually don't find a guru in the vicinity. So here we are to share with you the learning experience of this wonderful system of music. Let's now begin our musical journey, the journey into the learning of Carnatic music. The first and foremost thing that one should keep in mind is the Shruti. Shruti is the most important factor, and before we start singing, we should know what Shruti is. Shruti is the fundamental tonic, fundamental tone to which the singer always adheres to and sings. Shruti is equivalent to mother, Shruti Mata. Now, the instruments that provide the Shruti while singing or even in a concert is the tambura that you see here, the tambura. Nowadays, we also have electronically made tampuras and Shruti boxes. The tambura is also called the drone. Now, there are 4 strings here. 1, The two strings in between are tuned to the fundamental pitch or the Shruti of the singer. Normally, the male singers, they have a pitch range from C to about D, D sharp. The female singers, the range is from F to about A. It's a larger range. Now, the fundamental tonic or the Shruti of a singer is based on the range that the singer has. So, before you start singing, you should now see the range. You should have a range of 2.5 octaves. For example, my Shruti is G. Sa. So, the range should be ideally starting from the lower pa, mandrasthai pa. Pa, sa, pa, sa, pa. So, that should be the range. 2 is good enough, 2.5 octaves is ideal. So, this is how one decides on what one's Shruti or the pitch is. And now, the two strings in the center called the Sarani and Anusarani are set to the fundamental tone or the pitch of the singer. For example, that is the Sa. Sa. Sa of the Madhyasthai. That is the normal range. The Pa, the first string, is tuned to Panchamam. Pa. So the first is Pa. Pa. Sa. Sa. That is the Mandrasthai Sa, the lower octave. And the method of strumming the tambura is the middle finger is used for plucking the Panchama Tanti string. The remaining strings are strummed with the index finger. It's very important for a singer to know how to tune a tambura and also how to strum the tambura, play the tambura. It is actually not right to depend on the electronic tambura and the electronic Shruti box. These are used only in extreme cases, probably when a manual tambura is not available or when a player is not available at times, or when it is difficult to transport the tambura from one place to another. However, let me give you a peek into the tuning of a tambura. These, called the buradais, these are used for the major change in the Shruti. For example, if this is say this is not right. Now this is not right. So I am trying to change it by almost a semitone. This is used for major tuning. Then for finer tuning, we use the beads here. Any fine adjustments. And the thread here is not just for ornamentation or for any useless purpose. This actually, when adjusted minutely, gives the maximum amplitude, so it gives off a very rich harmonic tone. That is when you get this nice tone. So this is actually called the jiva, the life of the tambura. So this is how we tune a tambura. The actual posture that you see in a concert is this. very important for a singer to maintain a specific posture while singing. The posture is important because not only it looks nice when someone sees you on the stage without a slump like this, but it's also very good for the back and it provides a very nice passage for breathing. It's like a straw. Imagine a straw when you're drinking something with a straw and there's going to be a slump, there's going to be a kink when you drink. Do you think you'll get the juice to your mouth? No. In a similar way, if you sit straight, the passage, the air passage, because after all, singing is all about breathing. So the air passage will remain clear and and the breath intake and the exhalation of breath will be very easy. See, when you sing with a slump, say for example the sapa sa, sa, pa, sa. This may sound okay, but not the best. So when one sits straight with the back upright, you give lot of room for the expansion, the movement of the abdominal muscles, the diaphragm and the chest. So the voice production is maximum and one can also sing in a very, very relaxed way. Sa, pa, sa. So the volume is more, the tonal quality is better, and certainly it looks nice, isn't it? And there are so many do's and don'ts before you even start singing. For example, the way you keep your mouth. Never sing, open your mouth in that fashion. It doesn't sound good. And certain places, especially in the higher octaves, it's very difficult to produce the voice properly. Ah, 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 ah. It's not good at all. Similarly, one shouldn't shout in order to get the best tonal quality, or when one thinks you need to get the best tonal quality, it is not necessary to shout at all. Ah, ah, that's not right either. So you should neither open your mouth too much, ah, or ah. It should be rounded. The mouth should be kept like this. Ah. So the sound waves will be focused and the timbre and the tonal quality will be the best. Ah, ah. This way the breath control will also be better and one can sustain on a note for a longer time. The fade out is also possible. Otherwise, you go breathless and it's like ah. No, you never do that. The fade out should also be very, very smooth and seamless. So it's very important to understand the way you produce the voice. We have a number of exercises for this. One of the best and the oldest known exercise or the oldest known syllable is Om. One can start the practice with that. Om. Om. On specific notes using akaram. Ah, ah. One can keep a time, keep a track of the time, and keep bettering one's record. For example, if I'm able to sustain for 5 seconds today, maybe tomorrow it will be 7, and then it will be 10, and then it will keep increasing. So the sustain on a specific note without cutting off at the end with a nice fade out will be the best practice, and the tonal quality will also be very good. The same practice can be done with different vowels, akaram, u, e, o, a and so on. But a 3-in-1 is the om, of course, a, u and m. So you can also get the m. Even if one has a cold or a nasal blockage, practicing this the three merging seamlessly into the other. This ensures that your voice is good, your breathing is perfect, and your nasal passage is also very clear and nice. These are very important before one starts learning the actual exercises. Now that you have learned as to how to sit, what is the correct posture, how to tune a tambura, why we should use a tambura, and the methods of voice production, we shall start the actual class. We will begin with a few simple exercises in the ragam Maya Malagula. Before that, we have here with us Sankrit, who is going to be learning a few of the initial simple exercises. Okay, before we begin the exercises, we will sing Sapasa. The Sapasa singing is very important in one's own Shruti because it sets the mind at equilibrium. It also helps one to be in perfect unison with the Shruti, and it prepares the mind to concentrate on the learning. So now we will sing Sapasa. I'll sing once and then you repeat. Sa, sa, pa, pa, sa, sa, pa, pa, sa, sa. So you can sing this, sustain on each note for as long as you want. In fact, as long as possible. That will be the best. Now we'll start with the simplest of Sarali varisais. You know that there are 7 notes: Sa, Ri, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da and Ni. We will sing this in the ragam Maya Malagula. Okay? And these exercises, in order to introduce a student to the melody and the rhythm simultaneously, we also sing these exercises to talam. So the talam here is Adi talam, which is an 8-beat talam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is called the Adi Talam, and this is the most common talam, and most compositions are composed in this talam. We'll start. Sa,
sa
ri,
ri
ga,
ga
ma,
ma
pa,
pa
da,
da
ni,
ni
sa,
sa
sa,
sa
ni,
ni
da,
da
pa,
pa
ma,
ma
ga,
ga
ri,
ri
sa.
sa.
Shall we sing once together without the talam? Sa,
ri ga ma pa da ni sa
sa,
ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Very good. Now we'll sing with talam. Okay. So what we will do is one swaram per beat. I'll show you. Sa, ri, ga, ma. So do you see? I'm singing one swaram per beat. Sa, ri, ga, ma. Sing till there.
Sa ri ga ma
Pa,
da ni sa
sa, ni, da, pa,
sa ni da pa
ma, ga, ri. Sing the whole thing again once, okay? Sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, ri, sa. So, when we have one note per beat, we call it the first speed. The first speed, let me repeat again. The first speed is singing one note per beat. Sa, ri, ga, ma, and so on. So what would be the second speed? How many notes per beat? 2 notes per beat. So you will have, if it is second speed, you will have 2 notes per beat. For example, sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa.
sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa
Sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, ri, sa.
sa ni da pa ma ga ri
Sing with
sa
me. Sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa.
sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
So what is the third speed? How many notes per beat? I'm going to sing and then I'm going to give you the answer. Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Let me do it again for you. Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So this is how many notes per beat? 4 notes per beat. Yes. So that is a third speed. So this is how it progresses. The first speed has 1 note per beat. The second speed, the number of notes double actually. So it is 2 notes per beat. And the third speed is 4 notes per beat. And if you can even sing 8 notes per beat. So that is up to you to practice and reach that level. So this is the simplest of the Sarali varisai, as we call it. Sarali, easy exercises. So the second one will be just very simple. We keep adding every note. The first one is just singing each note once. In the second exercise, we add the next note. We add a re and then come back and do the whole thing again. For example, Sari, 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 Gama. I'm adding a re extra. Sari, 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 Gama. Then I have to go to the higher sa, right? So I'll sing Sari Gama Pada Ni Sa again. Sari Gama Pada Ni Sa. Sa, the same thing is repeated in the descent also. Sa ni, sa ni, sa ni da pa. Now to come back. Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Shall we sing the second speed together? Sari, 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 gama, sari, gama, pada, ni, sa, ni, sa, ni, sa, ni, da, pa, sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, ri, sa. Sari, 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 gama, pada, ni, sa, ni, sa, ni, sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, ri, sa. That will be the third speed. So this is how it goes. So what would the next exercise be?
Ga, sari, ga.
Okay, you'll add ga and then?
Ma.
Yes, and then we'll add pa. Okay, but when you come to pa, there is a slight difference. Because so far, in all the exercises, you've had no pauses. Every beat has been having a note, right, in this first beat. But when you sing, come to pa, one particular note on pa, you'll have to sustain. Pa being the mid note, there is a gap after that. Let me sing and show you the first beat. Sa, ri, ga, ma. Sing.
Sa, ri, ga, ma.
Pa, sa, ri.
Pa, sa, ri.
You got it? So there is an extra pause on pa. One extra unit, you pause. Sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, sa, ri. Sing.
Sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, sa, ri.
Sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa.
Sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa.
Sa, ni, da, pa, ma. Sa, ni.
Sa,
Shall we sing once together?
Sa ri ga ma pa sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Let me quickly sing the second and third speed. I'll sing it, okay? Sari ga ma pa, sari ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma, sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Sari ga ma pa, sari ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma, sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So there is an extra pause on this. Again, when you go to da, you don't have a pause. But when you go to ni, there is a pause again. So this is the way it progresses. It's sa ri ga ma pa da ni in the first half, or something related to it like sa ri, everything is in the ascent. And the second half, it is always descent. Sa ni da pa, something like that. But after the exercise on ni, we have a combination of both. For example, where we have the ascent, sa ri ga ma, and the descent, pa ma ga ri, and our usual bridge to go to the higher sa, sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa. Okay, the same of course repeats in the avarohanam, the descent also. Shall we do this once? Okay. I'll sing and then you repeat. Sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ri.
Sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ri.
Sa ri ga ma pa
da ni
sa ni da pa ma pa da ni,
sa ni da pa ma pa da ni,
sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ri, sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa.
Sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ri, sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa.
Sa ni da pa ma pa da ni, sa ni da ni sa ni da pa. Combinations in this. Then you can have a jump in between. For example, sa ri ga ma, ascent, pa ma, a small descent, and then a jump and then another descent, da pa. You have combinations like this. See, after all, these are to get the notes in proper positions. It need not necessarily, because in compositions or when you sing later on, the notes will not always occur in that specific order. There will be lot of jumping here and there. Sometimes in some of the ragas, you may not even find certain notes. So we put the foundation right in the beginning and we practice different exercises that have combinations of all these. So that is why you have sa ri ga ma pa ma and then da pa, sa ri ga ma pa ma
Da pa,
sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa.
Sari Gama Pada Ni Sa
Sa ni da pa ma pa ga ma.
Sa ni da pa ma pa ga ma.
Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Sa ri ga ma pa ma da pa. Sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa. Sa ni da pa ma pa ga ma. Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Sa ri ga ma pa ma da pa. Sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa. Sa ni da pa ma pa ga ma. Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So this is how it goes. These are some of the examples for the Sarali varisais, wherein the notes are practiced not just in different tempos, the first speed, the second speed and the third speed. These can also be practiced in akaram. Just as I told you initially, when you practice the sapasa, you can do all these exercises in using different vowels. It can be done in akaram, it can be done in ikaram, it can be done in ukaram and so on. In fact, you can also at a later stage, you can have different set of notes and hence different ragas. For example, in Shankarabharanam, we'll just do another exercise in Shankarabharanam for you. So let's do this exercise. Sa ri ga ma.
Sa ri ga ma.
Pa ga ma.
Pa ga ma.
Pa pa
ga ma pa da
ni da pa ma. Now we have learnt the simplest of simple exercises, the Sarali varisai. We'll go on to a little more involved exercise. Are you thorough with your Sarali varisai, Deepti?
Yes.
Janta varisai. Janta means two notes, double, two notes. They always come in pairs. So the note is repeated twice. The same principle that we applied for the Sarali varisai hold good for all exercises in fact. This Janta varisai is only an extension of the Sarali varisai in the sense the notes that we sang once, having two notes per beat will be your first speed. For example, sa sa ma, that was Sarali varisai. Now for Janta varisai we will go with sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ma.
Sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ma.
Pa pa da da ni ni sa sa.
Pa pa da da ni ni sa sa.
Sa sa ni ni da da pa pa.
Sa sa ni ni da da pa pa.
Ma ma ga ga ri ri sa sa.
Ma ma ga ga ri ri sa sa.
Very good. The thing you have to keep in mind is that whenever you sing Janta varisai, the second note is stressed upon. It's sung with a little punch. For example, you don't sing sa sa re, re. That is giving equal importance. Sa, sa, re, re, ga, ga, ma, ma. You're able to understand?
Yes.
Yeah, see?
Sa, sa, ri, ri, ga, ga, ma, ma.
Pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni, sa, sa.
Pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni, sa, sa.
Sa, sa, ni, ni, da, da, pa, pa.
Sa, sa, ni, ni, da, da, pa, pa.
Ma, ma, ga, ga, ri, ri, sa. Ga, ga, ma, ma, pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni, sa, sa. Sa, sa, ni, ni, da, da, pa, pa. Ma, ma, ga, ga, ri, ri, sa, sa.
Sa, sa, ri, ri, ga, ga, ma, ma, pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni, sa, sa. Sa, sa, ni, ni, da, da, pa, pa. Ma, ma, ga, ga, ri, ri, sa, sa.
So the challenge here is, in that third speed, you will have 8 notes per beat. Sa, sa, ri, ri, ga, ga, ma, ma, pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni, sa, sa, ni, ni, da, da, pa, pa, ma, ma, ga, ga, ri, ri, sa, sa, ri, ri, ga, ga, ma, ma, pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni, sa, ni, ni, da, da, pa, pa, ma, ma, ga, ga, ri, ri, sa, sa. So every time you sing, whatever be the speed, whatever be the tempo, the second note of the pair should always be given a stress. Sa, ri, ri, ga, ga, ma, pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni, sa, ni, ni, da, da, pa, pa, ma, ma, ga, ga, ri, ri, sa, sa. This will be highlighted even more when you sing the akaram. If you don't do this, it will sound very flat and as if you're just giving a pause. Single note, as if it's sa, re, isn't it? So you should meticulously practice Janta varisai by giving that extra punch for the second note. Another point one should keep in mind is should never mouth. That extra punch should be given because of the vocal exercise, the movement of the muscles, not because of the movement of the mouth. It should never be no, that is not right. You don't give exercise to your jaw. It is for the vocal, it's for the vocal cords. So you practice, when you do this, when you practice Janta varisai in different speeds, slow or very fast, it really flexes your vocal muscles so much that the vocal cords will be absolutely your slave. You can just sing what you want. It will listen to you as if it were your slave. Okay? So it's very important to move your muscles and not the jaw. So should never be no mouthing. That's very important. Janta varisai is not, when you practice akaram, sa, sa, ri, ri, ga, ga, ma, 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 pa, pa. You start from ri.
Ri, ri, ga, ga, ma, ma, pa, pa.
Then ga, ga, ma, ma, pa, pa, da, da.
Ga, ga, ma, ma, pa, pa, da,
Next
da.
one will be
Ma, ma, pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni. Pa, pa, da, da, ni, ni. Sa, 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 ni, ni. Da, da, pa, pa. ni ni da da pa pa ma ma da da pa pa ma ma ga ga pa pa ma ma ga ga ri ri ma ma ga ga ri ri sa sa.
Sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ma ri ri ga ga ma ma pa pa ga ga ma ma pa pa da da ma pa pa da da ni ni pa pa da da ni ni sa 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 ni ni da da pa pa ni ni da da pa pa ma da da pa pa ma ga ga pa pa ma ga ga ri ri ma ga ga ri ri sa sa. When you sing this, the the every second note should be audible, properly audible. Sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ri ri ga ga ma pa shouldn't be that way. Ri ri ga ga ma pa pa ga ga ma pa pa da da ma pa pa da da ni ni. That every note should be very clear. So again, going back to the first lessons, breathing, posture, if you're able to get the proper breath control, this is very easily achievable. And the third speed would be sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ma ri ri ga ga ma pa pa ga ga ma pa pa da da ma pa pa da da ni ni pa pa da da ni ni sa sa ni ni da da pa pa ni ni da da pa pa ma da da pa pa ma ga ga pa pa ma ga ga ri ri ma ga ga ri ri sa sa. You should know to always also take the breath in between. It's not very easy to do it just like that. Lot of practice, lot of thought and concentration can easily do it. And again, with Janta varisai also, you can have different types, different combinations. Like I said, for Sarali varisai, you can have jumping here and there a little bit. For example, sa sa ri sa sa ri sa ri. See, that is not Jantai. Okay, so you have a combination of both. So you start introducing things like that also. Sa sa ri sa sa ri sa ri sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ma.
Sa sa ri sa sa ri sa ri sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ma ri ri ga ri ri ga ri ga ri ri ga ga ma pa pa ga ga ma ga ma pa pa da da ma pa pa da da ni ni pa pa da pa pa da pa da pa pa da da ni ni sa 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 ni sa sa ni sa ni sa sa ni da da pa pa ni da ni da ni da pa pa ma da pa da pa da pa da pa ma ga ga pa pa ma ga ga ri ri ma ga ga ri ri sa sa.
So you have more exercises. Some of them would be having three notes. Sa 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 ri 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 ga ga. You introduce, three notes. Sa 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 ri 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 ga ga sa ri ga ga ma ma.
sa ri ga ga sa ri ga ga ma ma
Ri ga 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 ma ma.
ri ga ga ma ma pa pa.
In these cases, when you see if Jantai, just two notes, you're going to sing one note twice, and if that is going to give you so much flexibility, what will happen if you're going to do that, right? Sa ri ga ga sa ri ga ga ma ma ri ga 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 ma ma ri ga ga ma ma pa pa a a a a a a and higher speeds. Sa ri ga ga sa ri ga ga ma ma ri ga 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 ma ma ri ga ga ma ma pa pa. If you are able to do it as swaram also, as a solfa notes also, it also helps in the enunciation. See, when you sing later on, when you are able to do the creative part of music, the manodharmam, and you want to sing kalpanaswaram at say top speed, you will want to sing, but what happens to enunciation? It will be very difficult to sing sarigama padanisa, in all ragas. So if you have a sound practice in these notes like this, as notes, not just akaram, then it will help in the enunciation. Sa ri ga ga sa ri ga ga ma ma ri ga 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 ma ma ri ga ga ma ma pa pa ga 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 ma ma pa pa ga ga ma ma pa pa da da ma ma pa pa da da ma ma pa pa da da ni ni pa pa da da ni ni pa pa da da ni ni sa ni ni da da sa ni ni da da pa pa. You can have even four notes. Sa ri ga 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 ma 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 ri ga 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 ma 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 pa 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 pa. You can have any number of notes. In fact, you can have 8, you can have 16, and practice them in different speeds as notes and also as akaram. Sa ri ga 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 ma 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 8 notes. Pa 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 da 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 ni 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 sa 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 ri ga 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 ma 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 pa 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 pa. To talam, if you do it also, it will help in the enunciation. And then as akaram, so when you do that, the voice flexibility and the way you want, your voice will listen to you. This is the advantage of Janta varisai or extensions of Janta varisais. Jantai or can have any number of notes, and then you can do. You can even have odd numbers. It's not necessary that should sing only 4 or 8. It's, we say we practice in even numbers because of the Adi Talam, because we have 8 beats. So we always look at multiples of 4, 8 and so on. So that is the reason why we look at even notes like that. And then the other aspect is we also can have carvais in this, pauses. Sa ri ga ga sa ri ga ga ma ma pa pa ga ma pa pa da da ma pa da da ma pa da da ni pa da ni pa da da ni sa ni da da sa ni da da pa ni da da pa pa. So even if there is a pause in between, when you repeat the note the second time, it should be given that punch. Sa ni da da sa ni da da pa pa ni da da pa pa ni da da pa pa ma ma da da pa pa ma ma da da pa pa ma ma ga ga pa pa ma ga ga pa pa ma ga ga ri ma ga ri ma ga ri sa ri ga sa ri ga ma ri ga ma ri ga ma pa pa, and so on. So you can practice different speeds in Janta varisai also. So you are progressing. You had Sarali varisai, and now we went to 2 notes, pairs of notes, or the same note being repeated number of times in akaram as solfa passages and so on. So these are not just for vocal practices but also for enunciation. So it's time now to introduce our vocal cords to some range. See, initially I was talking about a musician or a singer's range, that it will normally be 2 octaves, ideally 2.5. We can actually culture our voice. We can give enough practice to our vocal cords and actually make it go up to 2.5 octaves. There are exercises, and these again, our elders have given us such a lot of treasure, such a lot of work that we can do and improve ourselves. So, these exercises that I am going to teach you now are all range exercises, sthai. So, we have different sets of exercises for the higher octave and a different set for the lower octave. But again, these work on the same principle, you can, normally we start with Maya Mala Gula Ragam, but we can practice them in different ragas, and they're all set to, as usual, our friend Adi Talam, the simplest and the easiest and the most common talam, and same principle. The first exercise will be the simple one, then the second one you add a note, the third one add the next one, and so on. So this is how it works. Let's do the higher octave, the upper octave exercise first. So the natural thing is start and go directly to the, from the madhyasthai directly to the tarasthai, the higher octave. Sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa
sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa.
See, when you go somewhere, when you are introduced to something, you don't directly go off, jump and do stuff. You are first made to stabilize. So that is what happens here. You go till sa, then you stop on the tarasthai sa, get stabilized, and then you start singing the exercise from there. So this is common to all the exercises that come under this set. Da ni sa re,
da ni sa re,
sa ni da pa,
sa ni da pa,
sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa,
sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa,
sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa
sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa
da ni sa ri sa ni da pa,
da ni sa ri sa ni da pa,
sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa,
sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa.
Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa.
Da ni sa ri sa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Da ni sa ri sa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa. Da ni sa ri sa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa. Da ni sa ri sa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Okay. The next one, till we stabilize on sa, till that portion it is the same. Shall we do it together? Sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa. Okay. Da ni sa ri.
Da ni sa ri.
Sa 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 ni da pa ma pa.
Sa ni da pa ma pa.
Then your first exercise. Da ni sa ri sa ni da pa.
Da ni sa ri sa ni da pa. Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Shall we do it again together?
Sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa. Da ni sa ri sa sa ri sa sa ri sa ni da pa ma pa. Da ni sa ri sa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
The next one you introduce ga, the higher octave, ga or the tarasthai gandharam. But every time you end after that exercise, then you come back to the next, the second one, and then the first one, and then you come back again. So that is the way it goes. We'll sing till that stabilizing point again. Sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa
sa.
Da ni sa ri.
Da ni sa ri.
Sa ri sa ni.
Sa ri sa ni.
Da pa ma pa.
Da pa ma pa.
I will repeat this portion alone again. Da ni sa ri ga ri sa ri sa ri sa ni da pa ma pa. Then we go on to the second exercise. Da ni sa ri sa sa ri sa sa ri sa ni da pa ma pa. Da ni sa ri sa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So I will sing the second speed now. Sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa sa. Da ni sa ri ga da ni sa ri sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa da ni sa ri ga ri sa ni da pa ma pa da ni sa ri sa ni da pa ma pa da ni sa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So this is the way it goes, and then you can include ma, and then you can include pa. So till there you can go, but a very fantastic ideal voice can do that as well. But our elders so far have given till pa, and we've been doing it so far. Probably because our compositions, the musical compositions that we sing, normally go only till Tarasthai pa and not beyond that. Very rarely does it go. So we stop till there. So these are the set of exercises to improve the range in the higher octave. These are called the male sthai varisai or the upper sthai varisais exercises. It is not enough if we just do the upper sthai varisais, because just as in yoga, when you do a posture, you do the counter posture also. So similarly, when you do the upper sthai varisais, you also do the lower sthai varisais. Because as I said, in our compositions, we also have lot of phrases that go to the lower octave, that is lower than sa. So it is not enough if we just start on sa and do a few exercises in the higher octave, come back to sa and stop. We need to have a very nice tonal quality in the bass also. A bass also should be developed. So we'll do the lower sthai varisais. So for this, we start from the upper octave sa, the tara sa. Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa 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 ga ri sa ni ga ri sa ni sa ri ga ma sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa. This is the second. And for the third, you include the da. Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa 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 ga ri sa ni
ga ri sa ni
da ni sa ni
da ni sa ni
sa ri ga ma
sa ri ga ma
ga ri sa ni
ga ri sa ni
sa ni sa ni
sa ni sa ni
sa ri ga ma
sa ri ga ma
ga ri sa ni sa ri ga ma
ga ri sa ni sa ri ga ma
sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa
sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa.
The last one will be including pa.
Pa.
Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa 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 ga ri sa ni da pa da ni sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ri sa ni da ni sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ri sa ni sa ni sa ri ga ma pa ma ga ri sa ri ga ma pa. All that you can make your own exercises, con your own exercises, and then practice, because we do have compositions like Tyagaraja's Pancharatna Kritis, in one of the Pancharatna Kritis, we actually have to go till the Mantrastayi Rishabha. So we also should practice, and these exercises will certainly help you do so. All the learnings that you've done, you must have attended many concerts, right? Actually, bring out music in a very concerted format, not only to the ears but also to the senses and the intellect. So, today we are going to present a small composition for you in the concert format. In a concert format, the person whoever leads the show, for example, we have a violin vidwan today and a mridangam vidwan, they will be seated on the sides and they will also be embellishing, and of course, they play a very major part in a concert. We also have the tambura artist, who is very, very important because throughout the concert, tirelessly, he or she keeps strumming on the tambura so that the Shruti, the fundamental tone, is maintained throughout. And today, on the violin, we have Sri Mattur Srinidhi, is a disciple of Sri R.R. Keshavamurthy and also a disciple of Vidwan Sri R.N. Tyagarajan. On the Mridangam, we have Vidwan Sri H.S. Sudhindra, who is a disciple of, we have Miss Deepthi Madhavan. We shall now present a very, very popular song of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar in the Ragam Arabi set to Rupakatalam. This composition is very unique in the sense there is only a Pallavi followed by a very small second part which is called the Samashti Charanam. There is no Pallavi, Anupallavi and Charanam. So it's a very unique format, a structure that has been, I would say, introduced by Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar. Shri Saraswati Namostute Varade Shri Saraswati Namostute Namostute Vidiyuvade Shri Saraswati Namostute Parate वासनात्रय विवर्जित वासनात्रय विवर्जित वरमुनि भावित मूर्ते वासनात्रय विवर्जित वरमुनि वितरण बहुगे दरस्तुते श्री सरस्वती नमोस्तुते. So, my dear learners, we have gone through the simplest of simple exercises: how to sit, tuning of a tambura, singing with tambura with proper Shruti, and then simple exercises in different tempos, maybe in different ragams, and then a little more involved like the Janta varisais, and later on to improve your range both in the lower octave and in the higher octave. What are the exercises that you can practice? In fact, these also you can do in different ragas. So the words, when we enunciate words when singing compositions, it will become much easier. So these are very important. So you practice them and keep practicing, keep doing lot of sadhakam so that you become complete musicians with an amazingly flexible voice, a voice that will just sing what you say even before you think you should start singing. So I hope you have benefited from all these exercises in this particular DVD. I would like to thank my students, and last but not the least to Vidwan Sri Shivaramakrishnan and Srimati Aruna Shivaramakrishnan, and the whole lot of team members here, audio and the visual members, for making this possible.